Ursula von der Leyen yesterday lashed out at China over allegations of state-backed cyberattacks against hospitals across Europe. The European Commission president said the bloc would not tolerate the malicious activity. The accusations came after a virtual summit between EU leaders and Chinese President Xi Jinping and Premier Li Keqiang. At a post-summit press conference, Mrs. von der Leyen fumed, "We have seen cyber attacks on hospitals and dedicated computer centers, and we know the origin of the cyberattacks. We put together the facts and the figures necessary to know." The German said she had pointed out such attacks and Chinese disinformation campaigns in Europe cannot be tolerated. Her intervention comes after the EU published a report earlier this month on the spread of fake news during the coronavirus pandemic. The dossier hit out at China for targeting Europe with false narratives. And in April, the bloc raised concerns about attacks on hospitals and coronavirus research facilities, without naming China. Mrs. von der Leyen and Council President Charles Michel also discussed trade and human rights with their Chinese counterparts. The relationship between the European Union and China is simultaneously one of the most strategically important and one of the most challenging that we have, Mrs. von der Leyen told reporters. Mr. Michel added, progress is needed in many areas to rebalance this relationship. China claimed Brussels and Beijing have agreed to reach a comprehensive investment agreement before the end of the year. Premier Li said, expanding two-way opening up on the basis of equality, reciprocity and mutual respect will help China and the EU better achieve mutual benefits and win-win results. He added that China hoped the EU would keep its investment markets open and relax export controls on Chinese goods to facilitate more bilateral trade, but the EU was more cautious when it came to discussing potential progress of a new relationship deal with China. "We need to resolve concrete problems," Mr. Michel said after the meeting. Mrs. von der Leyen added, "We continue to have unbalanced trade and investment relationship and we have not made the progress we aimed for in last year's summit statement in addressing market access barriers."